The passion in Ian is something that exists in him that will have him take on the broken project. You'll take a broken project and try to fix it and make it right and make it valuable. And this one worked pretty good. It was a good bet.
I grew up where I had a father who was a compulsive gambler. So I saw super highs, super lows. I saw him take risks that not only in the professional work field that I was like, oh my God, this is dangerous, and seen him come out the other end victorious. And then I've seen him make conscious decisions to blow it all, gambling. And
That's the fun part.
some people chase that. But what I learned from that experience was there's always a silver lining in people. Like, you need to find good to get good out of them. If you're looking for bad, you're gonna find the bad.
That's true.
So fast forward, we're at the end of our tour, right?
Yes.
Elliot Wilson sends you a DM and you hit me up and you said, hey, spoke to Elliot about something interesting. It's a show format for him and I to do. He sent me over what looked like an outline for a TV show. It's the ESPN First Take of hip hop. And in my head, this, I was like, okay, this is an opportunity to make that transition because we were just coming off of tour. We had whatever little nut we came home with, call it $55,000, and we're going into Christmas too. And then we started going into buildings. The first one was GQ. We tried pitching them the idea. I remember that meeting very, very well. And we knew right away that wasn't gonna be a fit.
Like, why are we trying to get some type of anything from GQ?
Well,
Y'all do clothes.
Yeah, but I don't think that was our mentality. Now in hindsight, you could say that. In the moment, we knew they were green lighting shows that were living on GQ. Forget about the platform. We knew they had a cachet, we knew they had budgets, and we knew that they were doing shows in some world that existed like our show was. When you're looking for a new fit, you turn over the rocks, see what's there. That was our mentality. And honestly, we didn't have any fucking options, so it didn't matter.
We walked out of there, and I immediately said to Elliot, well, I didn't need to say it because I had sabotaged the meeting.
You did.
Like, sometimes it's good to just cut the bridge. Don't try to walk back down that bridge. No, GQ, you cannot piggyback and earn entry into this culture just because y'all did clothes before. Nah, but it's only but so many places that's gonna do it. They're not into it yet. So when Complex came up, I got really excited because they were doing content.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's important because at this time, Complex, I think, was ruling the kingdom in terms of just editorial and now this like influx of content. It was crazy. It was a good thing.
So I'm like, oh, this might be kind of perfect. They're already heavy in the community, in the culture. They already do content and they understand the internet, which for me was really important because not everybody understands the internet and how to work it.
So it started with Noah Calloway, myself, Elliot get in touch. He expressed his immediate interest right off the bat. He was excited about the concept and wanted to get conversations, meetings rolling just to see if it's something that we could make happen. When that started happening, Elliot received what they felt was his compensation, Joe the same, and I think that kind of killed the opportunity on Elliot's side, if I'm mapping it out correctly.
Well, Elliot didn't live in New York.
Well, right. That's right. Elliot needed to move
Elliot
to do
didn't
it.
live in New York, and they wanted to do 4 days a week, and for the money that they were talking about, it just wasn't feasible for Elliot. And he expressed that, and we totally understood.
And it became, Joe, who do you think we should bring in conversation?
So we sat there and we ran through a bunch of names. We eventually got to Akademiks, and Complex had been chasing him for a while. That's what Noah said to me, that we've tried to get this kid to work with us before. He has not because he has his own situation, but he's really big on YouTube. He's really big with the kids. And I said, I've never met him. I'm familiar with him, but let's see. Bring him in. Can't hurt. When he came in, is when I got goosebumps.
We went downstairs after you did your first like test shoot, and you're like, this is a fucking hit, home run. And that was really the start of the complex everyday struggle journey.
You know a hit, you just know a hit. You can feel it. I've had a few of those moments in my career, and when I met Ak, I fell in love. Everything that he represented, I hated.
But it was in a really cool way.
It was a healthy hate, because he was able to articulate why he felt the way that he felt, why he enjoyed the people that he enjoyed.
Yep.
And I thought, yeah, you sit us two there, you can just film. You can just film and the magic is gonna happen.
Yep.
And it took a little while, then they wanted to do the promo shoots, and it was us with the boxing gloves and the water cooler and all of this boxing shit. So when he agreed to do this show and we saw how the test shoot went, for me it was like ants in my pants as to when this will begin. I have to see if the people will react to this the way that I'm reacting to this, because this is insane.
Ak knew that I could learn a lot from this guy, and he could learn a lot from me.
I learned a lot from him.
Yeah.
I learned a lot from him, man. I gotta say. And Complex learned a lot from him, from us.
2017 was also the first year that I noticed how bad the combativeness was between the younger generation and the older generation of hip hop. So we came in at a very weird time when younger kids were slamming the older acts, saying, you're getting in our fucking way, fuck you, OG, you're just bitter, you're this, you're that. Well, then the matchup of you and Ak was that every day. It would serve up the whole hip hop community, that dynamic, every single day. And those test shoots proved it, except what you guys were able to do was draw this bridge. And so now all of a sudden, the kids that were running the internet had to come pass through here. And when we came, it was just like, second week into Everyday Struggle, you couldn't walk down a street in New York.
Yeah.
At that point, I'm like, this is a fucking smash, it's out of here. I knew everything was changing, and the cool part about it, and what made us unique as opposed to having a fucking TV show like everyone else, it was on YouTube, and people were freaking out because now we have this built-in complex world that people already attached to and have this cachet for, right? There's this cachet against, attached to Complex. Now Joe's driving in his fans, Akademiks driving in his fans, and all of a sudden it's like an explosion of everything at the same time. It just felt completely different. Like literally 4 months time in between the end of the Rage Tour and the start of Everyday Struggle completely changed everything people thought about Joe Budden.
And it felt good for a while. When did it stop feeling good? The show worked so well that there started to be rumblings of a sports show.
Oh yeah.
A sports debate show, where they're now going to try to find two different personalities with their own audiences to come in and argue about sports.
With a mediator. So it would have been
a
exactly
mediator.
like a show called Everyday
So
Struggle.
you're making Everyday Struggle again, but in sports.
Right.
Okay. I remember somebody even maybe came up to me and asked me, hey, who do you think we should get for this? Who do you think we should get?
Oh, that was a common thing. People asking, the company's asking us, how should we go about building this other entity that we're not going to include you on in the business?
And they landed on Gilbert Arenas as a host.
Oh, wow. That's right.
Boy, were they excited. But they was feeling this themselves so much that they thought that they could pair him with Mia Khaliffa, who at the time is a retired porn star. I see where you're going, tone-deaf corporate white people with money. So this is an exact mimic of our show that we are not being compensated on. We're not being spoken about. You don't even care how we feel about the shit. You're just going, cool. Didn't work. Didn't work out too well. Numbers were atrocious. Morale was low in the building.
That was crazy.
Yeah. So I felt the way after that. You're giving me fucking chump change. You're giving Ak half of that. I didn't like it. They knew it. Strike one. Strike one.
Strike one.
Real bad.
Strike one led to That discomfort.
Mad strikes was coming after that.
But that was also apparent to the public. The public saw it as well. It wasn't like it was, oh, we just thought that. No, people actually were like, oh man, this is a weaker version of Everyday Struggle.
The fans were so in tune with Everyday Struggle that they started pointing out people trying to copycat Everyday Struggle, even if it was inside the Complex building. So now you have the fans of Everyday Struggle shitting on other shows that Complex is making, and it created a weird dynamic for sure.
The relationship was kind of getting sour by then, but this is what accelerated that. Whenever the BET Awards popped up, but they came in like, yo, BET, red carpet, we're thinking about getting a space there and having y'all do the show from there and interviewing artists from there. Ak is not the most well-liked guy in the industry.
And neither were you.
I certainly am not the most well-liked guy in the industry. And you want to put your 2 star players on the red carpet to interview people? We're down. We're down. I mean, we risk our safety every day on here just talking shit about people. And all the artists have security, like real security. If one of them were angry at something we said, we should probably have security too. I thought that was a really small ask for what we were giving up. And I got back, no. No, it's not in the budget. I said, it's $300. I said, fucking. A few weeks before, I did the Lil Yachty interview. The Lil Yachty interview, which was my very first interview with somebody that I didn't know from a can of paint. That's my BFF now. Shout out to Yachty. So we get out to LA, the awards. We've interviewed a whole bunch of artists. Migos is nominated for like Album of the Year or some huge shit. So they come in late. They sit down, but they don't really want to be there. They not fucking with me. Ak is fucking super ecstatic. He couldn't be happier that his favorite rap group is sitting there talking to him.
Geeking out.
But he don't even see that they ain't really trying to talk to him. The classic moment happens where I stand up, drop the mic, I leave, and when I saw the footage, I said, oh shit, this is gold. It's gotta go out. Gotta go out.
You texted me right
It's gotta
then.
go out.
That was
right now, it's gotta go out. They said, yeah, but we gotta run it up the chain of command. We didn't talk to Cornell, but I mean, this might be a bad look for the company. I said, excuse me?
Right.
Bad look for the company. Wow. The only person this might be a bad look for is me. And I'm saying, this has to go. It's gold. We don't get any promotion from this. They don't market our shit. This is the marketing.
Yep.
And we put it out, and Complex was heated. They hated this until the virality. And everybody was happy. Then they started doing the remixes of this video and all types of the video. I never got to live it down. Then they dissed me in a song.
That was huge.
If a nigga hatin', call him Joe Budden.
Oh my God, it was the best thing. Listen, this one moment, I probably owed Migos a check.
Sure.
You cannot pay for that type of advertising. It was great. I tried to stretch that shit as long as I could. But when I got back to New York, that's strike 2 now. That's strike 2.
Then came them doing a deal with Nike. It would be a sponsored, brought to you by credit, by Nike, into Everyday Struggle. And what they wanted in exchange was not only a title card, but for the talent to wear the shoes on film. And I remember getting into a disagreement with them about this and saying that's far more than an that's far more than an advertisement on our show. That's Joe endorsing the brand. I said, so if you're intending for Joe to put shoes on his feet, we would like to have a separate business discussion acknowledging that he's now endorsing Nike. And we got told this is the first step. There'll be plenty more of this. Let's take the first step. Let's get our foot in the door with advertising, which in theory makes sense, but it only benefits one side. Because we were under a deal where if we got ad integrations, we would get this fixed amount of money every month. It didn't matter if we did one ad integration or all 16 episodes of the month had ads in them. We were getting the same one bonus. It made no sense, but we were new to it. We didn't realize till we were through it. But Nike came in, and you did it. We did the Nike deal because we wanted to act in good faith with Complex. Keep in mind, I had been poking around the entire company, figuring out how much were they giving Everyday Struggle to get an ad placement into one of our YouTube episodes. And no one would tell me. Finally, I found out through people what this looked like per episode. And now that's when I felt disgruntled because I'm like, holy shit, this is so imbalanced. This isn't right. How is this company getting all of this and we get that?
Did you find out what the numbers were for the Nike thing?
I won't say definitively, but I know it was in the 50K per episode range, at least. And this is for very minimal lifting for Complex. And I'll say this, what I started realizing was that these brands were really looking for Joe to interact with the brand. And the minute we'd say something like, he's not putting it on his feet, or he's not gonna mention that personally, he'll sit there and you could run whatever ad you want, but he's not gonna verbally say it or physically put the product on or touch it or talk about it, the brand's backed off. And then I'd scratch my head and go, no, hold on a second. They're only here so that Joe interacts with the brand. And that's when I started pulling back the reins, like, oh, no, we're not just participating in anything. We have questions.
Strike three, we do our show Monday through Thursday. Monday through Thursday. What did they say? We have an opportunity for the Friday show.
We have an ad integration, an opportunity with a brand, a big brand that wants to get involved with Everyday Struggle in a more unique way than any other brand has or will. I said, cool, sounds interesting. Send over some details.
Yeah, oh, and they're going to finance the entire Friday show.
Well, no, that was what was exciting. They weren't looking to do an ad integration, which would have given us a bonus. What they were really looking to do was add the fifth day, which was a Friday show that Joe had been talking about for a very long time. And they wanted to link it to Rap Caviar, and they wanted to make it like a Rap Caviar playlist type of show where a sign-off would include Joe talking about the playlist and his favorite records from that playlist. And I said, or Joe and I looked at each other and said, wait a second. This is like the Sleepers playlist on the podcast.
Well, the question that revealed it all was, well, can I speak honestly about the playlist?
Oh, right. You're right. That was the first conflict.
Can I give my honest thoughts
That's right.
on whatever's on the playlist? And I don't remember their words exactly, but they implied that probably wouldn't be the greatest idea. I said, whoa, so you're taking away my right for free speech?
That's right. Oh my God, that's right. That was a big part of it.
Whoa. I go to Ian, I say, yo, there has to be something in our contract that stops them from taking away my right to free speech. And that's when you said, well, no, it's in our contract that anything that we feel opposes our fucking podcast
That's right.
is a violation of the contract.
You are hell-bent on not messing with the integrity of the pod. That was the big contention point. You're like, I'm not fucking up the podcast integrity to bring this concept that lives on the pod to Everyday Struggle in a situation where I don't know the details of the business deal. I'm stuck with the bonus structure that I'm stuck with that's undervaluing how this comes to fruition. And I'm not going out on a limb to do that, especially if I can't speak freely. And that was the start of a big disagreement.
It was a no for us. And again, throughout this entire journey, the no is what gets us the information. Again, just knowing how shit smells. We said no, they start scurrying like roaches when the lights come on. Whoa, this shouldn't be that big of a deal to you guys over there, but boy, it was. And after much back and forth, heated debate and discussion, they landed on, don't worry about it, we'll do it without you guys.
That's right.
We did find out what they were getting.
Oh, that was it.
That's what did it.
Oh, that's what did it.
We found out how much they were getting for these Friday shows and how much they were giving. Well, they were just honoring our contract and adding the extra $10,000 bonus. But they were getting some astronomical shit.
It would have been a multi-million-dollar bump per year for the show. Well, guys, you see what your contract says. You get $10,000 every time. In a month, you get 1 or 16 ads. We'll give you an extra $10,000 bonus. Once we started becoming hip to what was going on, that looked like we were being robbed.
When you don't do it for the money, it's not the money that's gonna do it. Like, the extra $10,000 bonus would have been good for some shit that I would do for free.
That's right.
Thank you. It's not until we find out the shenanigans going on.
That's right.
Where it's like, money aside, this is how you are treating us?
Yes.
Like, it's always the treatment to me.
It never, the funniest part of any of our deals are it never lands on the actual money involved in the deal.
Never the money.
It's always the people that they put in between the deal and us. And it's either you're putting people around us that get us, or they put people around us that get in our way.
Listen, my number one thing with any company in the universe is customer service. I don't care what company it is. Customer service. It just says a lot. And the corporate people just failed to realize what that said, telling the creator of this show, nah, we're gonna do this without you. That said to me that the money was real important to you. So they went, and I didn't show up on a Friday. And the first Friday I didn't show up, know what all the fans said? Where's Joe? Not only did Complex attempt to do this without us, they figured they could just sit any famous person in the seat to pair with Akademiks and Nadeska. It was something to really watch and observe. First Friday comes. It's Action Bronson. This was a shit show. This was horrible. All the fans did was say, where's Joe? We eventually found out Spotify said, well, wait, when that aired, with all your little stickers and bumpers and all the shit you were supposed to put there in your deal, and it went out, Spotify said, well, where's Joe? Our deal is not for you to just rotate a seat.
That's right.
Our deal is for Joe. But you're gonna rotate a seat, let's just see how it goes. We'll give you another week or whatever. Next week comes, it's ASAP Ferg and Akademiks and Nadeska on a Friday. All the fans. Where's Joe? Then it was gone. We kind of knew from there.
We couldn't come up with a deal. We had been
This
talking.
was, I don't think there was a deal to come up with after that. And that just goes back to what I'm saying about your treatment of people and just customer service. That's not how you treat somebody. If you were paying me all the money in the world, and back then I wasn't asking for very much money.
No.
I was content with 20 grand a month. So I mean, that speaks to where I was at.
Yes.
But if you give me all the money in the world, I'm not coming in here for you to treat me like shit every day. Remember, I'm not the guy who's ever had a corporate job. I do feel like I can go out there and rub two rocks together and figure something out that will be fruitful. I don't need to be unhappy here before we ever get the money. Yeah, I wasn't confident. They had already said no to the network deal for pennies. I didn't think that deal was getting done. Did you?
I knew it wasn't getting done when I went in there, and it wasn't even about money. I was like, you have to understand, he's building a network. This is going to be bigger than himself. It's in line with what Howard Stern built, and they laughed. It was, and I'm not going to say who, but they literally laughed.
Laughed him out the room.
And said, Joe Budden is not Howard Stern, Ian. I'll never forget it.
The pod was always a constant reminder that, hey, it could feel like this.
Right.
Supposed to feel like this.
This is awesome. And we've been doing this for so long for free. I'm forgetting that we should be getting paid for this. I'm over here at work busting my ass in corporate. Now I understood the work people.
Right.
The people that go to work and then get off work and still have some like shit to deal with at home. No, don't stress me out at work and now at home. No. The pod felt great. Just for free, pro bono.
At the end of our Complex deal, I think we were enlightened in so many ways. One of the most important things that happened was the audience from Everyday Struggle started drifting into the pod. And that was a reality check for us because we were out the door, about to be out the door at Complex with no money to lean on for the podcast. However, like Joe's saying, he saw it as, oh wait, it should feel like this, except we're not making money here. We started getting some wings when we said, okay, if this worked for us, then when we leave Everyday Struggle, all these new fans that we've now brought to the pod, they're gonna come with us to the wherever we go with the pod or whatever we do next. That's when confidence started boosting and the fear started leaving, because then I'm like, you know what? It doesn't matter that we don't have another situation. And that ultimately led to the point where I was just like, all right, this is it. Everything on our own, figure out how we find the right partners that get us, nothing else moving forward unless you and I say this is a go. Rumor was that TV networks were coming to Complex saying we want to take this to linear.
Yeah.
And one of those very networks that came was Puffy and Revolt made a call to Complex and said, I'm interested in putting Everyday Struggle on Revolt. That was a real thing.
Why do I need Complex to act as a conduit between me and Revolt, or between me and Puff, or between, why do I need Complex? Complex don't represent me, my best interests. I'm not happy here. I kind of got friends in TV. See, that's where it got really crazy, because I know what some of that TV shit looked like. In digital, you could always hide behind, hey, it's digital. Mm-hmm. It's not much money, you know. So yeah, I didn't feel like they should have the ability to sell Joe Budden anywhere. You can do that with Ak, you can do that with Nadeska, you can't do that with me.
Now we're into final weeks of our contract, whatever we signed 9 months earlier. And the end of it was we just couldn't come to an agreement on what the new deal would look like moving forward for 4 days a week.
They wanted to double my old deal.
Which was
So if I was making $20,000 a month, which is grossly underpaid, and now I kind of understand the value and what you're doing with the rights and the likeness of the show, they wanted to double that and make it 40. And the same way when they initially came with 20, and I told you to go tell them 22, and they said yes in a heartbeat. When I told Ian to go tell them 50, they said no in a heartbeat. I don't know what that final argument was. Was that a negotiation?
It was.
Because they were
part of
saying
the
no to the
contract.
tiniest things that we were asking for in the contract. I felt like I wasn't being crazy.
If we would propose that deal today,
They would take it.
There would be no thought. There would be no thought. They'd write a blank check and say, just fill in what you want.
But Monday came and I got up to get dressed. I was getting dressed to go to work. And they put out what did they put out? They put out an announcement or something.
They wanted to go off and wish Joe Budden well on his endeavors, and that was the start to the end.
I was real mad.
I wasn't. I knew we were about to go. I felt like we had.
Yeah, I just, the
was
gall,
about to go.
the gall of you to do that. Anyway, I had enough. Enough was enough. Now you're getting Joe. Now you're getting Joe. And I tweeted something like, the nerve of y'all to use the birth of my, congratulate me on the birth of, don't use the birth of my child as the reason I'm not there.
Oh,
That's what I said.
They used it.
I said, I am not there
Right.
because blah, 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 blah. But it's not the birth of my child, and don't lie to people that way.
Oh, that's right. They put out an announcement that said, Joe has been absent because he's expecting the birth
I'm on
of his child.
maternity leave.
That's what they said.
I'm a whole man.
Oh, that's right. That's
I am
right.
a whole man. I don't take maternity leave.
Wow, that's right.
Yeah, I was real angry at that. And I replied to that tweet, and that did it. And then once you turn the light switch on, I mean, it's on now. I went to the podcast, and I was about to give it up.
Legendary.
That was your best podcast
I
of
have
all
to
time.
go. See, I have to utilize my own platform to tell my story that I haven't been able to tell because I was scared to do damage to my reputation. But I can't let you damage it.
No, but you see, the difference is the risk was calculated. You said, all right, this isn't working. I'm splitting time. We need to go full court pressure on what we own. Let's stop this. It's not working. They don't see the value. That's it. When you said that's it, and you left willingly without any safety net, was the start of it.